Hi, this is Sherry. I'm coming at you from Canyon Lake for Angels Whisper, and I'm actually in my girlfriend's patio. We're not on the lake today because it's windy, so I'm sitting up here and it's very, very beautiful. The wind's blowing, and I thought this would be a cool place because I'll be able to see any animal totems that come to us. They're flying by. I guess we'll be getting bird messengers. I have the deck that I'm going to be working with is called the Guardian Angel Tarot by, who is this by? Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. I like the combination of the male and the female perspective. You know, I enjoy that. So I had something I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's a touchy subject, and and I've been shown that I need to be careful about the words that I choose, but it needs to be addressed. The energies that we're dealing with right now, as far as the shifts and the changes in the world that are happening, they're affecting people greatly, emotionally, physically. A lot of people are having difficult time sleeping. Body changes. It is all to do with the awakening process. It all is all to do with the changing energies that are flushing through the system of our consciousness, bringing us to a higher level of consciousness. And we're noticing, and I'm sure you all have, people are checking out left, right, and center. We've got, we notice them more when they're movie stars or, singers, like we've got David Bowie and Prince and, on and on. They've been going one by one, boom, boom, boom. And it feels like, oh my gosh, everybody's dying all at one time. Now, of course, it's like a generation. It's an old generation that's moving off and a new generation coming forward. But they were young, especially Prince. So it's definitely shifting energy, and I don't need to argue with people, and I don't want to make anybody mad, but it literally is, people are opting, their souls are opting to check out. They're not willing or wanting to move in with the new energies that are changing in the world, and so there's going to be a lot more. They're going to be opting out. We used to talk about it as I was growing up. I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and it was called the Revelation. The great day of God, the Almighty, Armageddon, when, there was going to be all of this stuff that was happening, which we're seeing now, earthquakes in one place after another, food shortages, famines, wars, escalations of all of this, children being disobedient to parents, men lovers of money rather than lovers of men, just on and on and on. And we've seen the escalation, and I don't subscribe to the fact that there's going to be an actual war, world war, that's going to take everybody away, and I don't also subscribe to everybody just all of a sudden being taken off the planet. There's nothing wrong with this planet that love can't handle. To heal it, love heals everything, but there is going to be a mass exodus, and that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing, this mass exodus of people that are choosing to go into spirit. Now, it's not that there's something wrong with them and they can't handle it, and something right with you and you get to stay here, but there are those that are staying to help move this love movement forward, and then there are ones that are going on, and that's what we're seeing happening. Now, at the same time, with all of the shifting changes and the energies and the people that are reawakening, there's a lot of people that are suffering from situations such as, hear our birds singing, suffering with what other people would call mental disorders. People are having breakdowns. People are having when the awakening process happens, it generally happens after there's been some kind of a trauma, some kind of a traumatic event that happens in your life, like a death of a loved one. Mine was when my mother died, and right after that it's when it happened for me. It could be the death of a spouse, a child, a loss of a job. Any very traumatic event will trigger this kind of this happening in your body, and it doesn't mean that you have to have something like that to have happen to begin the awakening process, but that's generally when it does happen. Also, that's what happens. What happens when you go through an event such as that? What happens is your Kundalini is reawakening, and the Kundalini goes up your spine, and it's this, energy center, all the chakras aligning, and it's awakening everything. And when it does this, it releases these energies, and it causes your body to kind of go haywire. It does. I don't really think I've met anyone who hasn't been affected upon their reawakening. I definitely was. And when you're going through this awakening process, we're being encouraged to stay away from any negative energy, keep yourself in calm, peaceful environments. I mean, clearly that's something that you want to do anyway. But it's very, very important that you're in a peaceful setting, that you're not around negative energy, that you're not in a, where people are fighting, or where they don't want you to have alcohol or drugs in your system, because it does something to the energy centers in your body as you're awakening and into your psyche. When I had my reawakening happen, I was literally guided by spirit. It was interesting. I was taken from California, very hustle bustle lifestyle. I was really busy, going all the time. And I was moved to Wisconsin, to a very small town, and it was a shock to my system. It was hard for me at first, but then I got, into the swing of things, and I fell in love with the town, and I fell in love with the people. And then I was getting from spirit that you're moving on. And I kept getting, Arizona. And I thought, I'm not moving to Phoenix. I don't want to be where it's hot. That's all I ever knew about, Arizona was Phoenix, and it was hot, and I didn't want to go there. But anyway, I was going. It was very clear that spirit kept showing me signs again and again, and it was always Arizona. And so then it started coming more to me that it was Sedona. So I ended up moving to Sedona. I didn't want to go. I fought it. This is another message, and a part of this is when spirit starts pushing you towards something, try to go with the flow, try not to fight it, because the more we fight what our soul is asking for, it's going to happen anyway, but it might happen in a way that's more difficult for us. It's going to be more of a bumpy ride, so I kind of fought it. But I did get there, and when I got there, I was advised by spirit. I have prophetic dreams, and I had Archangel Michael appeared to me, and which scared me, to tell you the truth. I'd always wanted spirit to show itself to me. I've always said that. Why can't I see? I have other friends that have seen, and I hadn't seen. Why can't I hear? My gifts were different. And so when he appeared, it scared me to death. And my heart was beating like crazy, and he saw that, or spirit recognized that I was frightened, and he receded quickly. And I calmed myself, and I thought, no, he's not going to hurt you. He's here to help you. This is what you want. So I calmed my body down, and as my heart rate slowed down, he came back. And he sat in front of me, and his mouth didn't move, but he spoke. I heard him, and he said, you're moving to a new town, going to Sedona. And I said, okay. I wasn't going to argue. So I went. But when I got there, I was advised I was not to associate with people. I was pretty much isolated. And I didn't know why it was happening. It was really hard for me because I was a social butterfly. And I wasn't used to being alone like that. I've always been around people. I worked as a stylist for years in a busy salon, and I had a huge clientele, lots of friends. And here I was in this town, and I only knew one person, and he was my friend Joseph White Wolf. He's a shaman there. Amazing person, but he was very, very busy. So that was the only person I knew. And other than that, I was pretty much isolated. And there were other people that I could have met, but I kept being told, no, they didn't. They wanted to teach me themselves. They didn't want me to learn other people's ideas of spirituality. They wanted to teach it to me themselves. And I thought that was the only reason at the time. But now I understand I was being isolated because I was coming through this awakening process, and I had stuff happening to me. And I think that if I'd been around people, I probably would have looked like I was crazy. Now, people that know me are going to laugh because they're going to be like, well, you are crazy. And I am, but only in the best of ways. But no, seriously, I've driven friends crazy. I've driven my family crazy because of the things that were happening, and I was trying to figure them out. And I didn't understand, like I said, the prophetic dreams, they're huge because my dreams would happen. But sometimes they were symbolic, and I would get confused between them. And I've had a difficult time for the last several years trying to understand. And now I realize that everybody that I met, every situation that happened to me, everything that I've gone through, and it's been really, really rough for the last 5 years, especially the last 2, since I connected with my twin soul. Everything that we go through is preparing us for what we have asked for. So, and for me, I'm a teacher, and I needed to be prepared to understand, to help others that are reawakening, explain to them what's going on. Because when I was started to reawaken, I didn't know anybody. I had nobody to turn to. I didn't know Joseph at that time. I didn't know anybody. And I didn't know what was happening to me. Why were these things happening to my body? Why was my body vibrating? Why was I having these dreams? Why were, there was events that were happening. I'm not going to go into all of it. But I was isolated, so it wasn't like a big shock to everybody around me. Now, there are ones, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there are, people have been writing to me, people that I know through Facebook, Facebook acquaintances. I don't know personally, but then there are ones that I know very well personally, and someone that I love very much. And in the awakening process, they had a breakdown. They didn't, and it was, I hate to say they had a break, but they did. They you know, it was as a break of sorts because it was so much pressure, it was so much stress.